Morning everyone. Today I'm just going to talk about the welders and the hand tools that I use to do the rust repairs. Just give you a walk around and show you what's the best way to go. Alrighty. This is the MIG. She's a Kempe Evo 200. Inverter technology, really easy to control. Has its automatic settings, or you can actually go manual. Just takes the small 5 kilogram wire, ER70S, you can see copper coated. All of a decent welder, if you're going to buy a welder, one of the telltales is, does it have a 15 amp plug or does it have a 10 amp plug? If it's 10 amp, I'd steer clear of it. All the good ones have 15 amp power inlet. This is the TIG, and it's a Weld Force WF201. This is AC/DC. It's not necessary for you to have AC/DC, you can just buy the DC version. And again, that's 15 amp power inlet as well. So to solve the problem with your 10 amp power outlet in your wall in your garage or wherever you're working from, you buy one of these. This is the converter. 10 amp power output or input. You open the little box inside and it goes to 15. And converts it no trouble at all. Got the safety switch. And then all you need is a lead. I'd go, this is 10 metres this one, maximum 10 metres I'd go. And away you go, you're plugged into a 10 amp power point. So that's the welders. Now price wise, I think this one at the moment somewhere around $3,000. They both come with a regulator, the gas lines, the earth and the torch. Same on the TIG, earth, torch, and a regulator comes with this one as well. And the TIGs normally range around the $1,800 to $2,000 mark. You're pretty safe at that dollar value. The machine's going to do what you want it to do. Now gases for each one. For the MIG, you're using an Argo shield, or super shield as Super Gas calls it. And that's a mix. Not sure what the mix is, but you can go on site and find out what it is. But it's not pure argon, as is with the TIG. For aluminium and steel, you use pure argon. Now these gauges, you've got to be a little bit careful with them. When you connect them up to the gas bottle and you go to open the gas bottle, you got to do the gas turn very, very slowly. And stand away, stand back from the actual gauges. You don't want to be in front of this, because sometimes if you open it too fast, it can actually blow the lenses off the top of these or blow the gauge off the top. There's an extreme amount of pressure inside of these bottles, especially when they're full. So you just nice and easily crack it open, and then you can open it right up to get your gas flow. Alrighty. That's the welders. Both of those will get you out of trouble in any case. This one here can go up to, I think it'll weld like 5mm plate without any trouble at all. Yeah, she's a good little welder. So good brands. Kempe is a good brand. Weld Force is quite a good brand, just coming onto the market 5 years ago, I think it was. So they're both good brands. Lincoln is another good brand. BOC make decent welders. There's quite a few on the market that will do the job satisfactorily, especially if you're working at home, just in your garage. You need the auto darkening style helmet. This is a top of the line one, because I do quite a bit of work. It's a speed glass, 3M. You can buy them cheaper than this though, by a long shot. So that's got the light inside, so when the hood's down you can see where you're going to strike your arc. As soon as you strike the arc, it blackens out the screen and you can continue on welding. You're going to need some consumables for these welders. For the MIG in particular, it's just the welding tips. These do get a bit scatty inside and the wire doesn't feed out properly, so if you're having trouble feeding wire, this would be the first thing you'd do, is you'd change your tip out and put a new one in. And for the TIG, it's a little bit more complicated. You've got the tungsten tips, 1.6mm that I've been using, and also these ones here are for the aluminium, and they're 2.4, so they're a larger tungsten tip. These are zirconium ones, but you don't need to know much about aluminium. The metal one's the one you're concerned with. It's a 1.6 that I use, diameter, and it's 2% thoriated. They've actually got a brown tip on the end of them that lets you know that they're for use on steel. And they're the ones I use on the TIG. These are gas caps. They come in different sizes. That's a 7. This one's a 5, so it's smaller. And also you'll need the various sizes in the actual tip holders. So you go from 1.6 to 2.4 up to 3.2, but you won't be using 3.2 because it's way out of control. That's the big stuff. Heavy metal. This is just my box with all the consumables in it. I just keep it all in one place. It makes it nice and easy, keeps it dry. And yeah, so that's the welding side. Oh yeah, TIG gloves. TIG gloves are a lot finer than a normal glove that you get for welding. These are so you can handle the rod, when the filler rod, when you're using the TIG welder. They work on the MIG for me fine as well. You're only doing light work, so you don't need those big, thick, heavy duty ones. I think they're about 15 bucks a pair. So that's the welding setup. On this side, I've got just the basic hand tools. First of all, eye protection, very important. Hearing protection, very important. I use the standard angle grinder, which is just the one that has the standard discs on it. The only place I'd use that, because it spins at 10,000 RPM. I use that when I'm grinding back a MIG weld that's high build. That does the job, and I use it as a grinder, not as a sander. It's got to be on its edge like that. We just do the MIG welds with those ones. We get the MIG weld back to just below, just above where the actual metal's sitting, and then you'll finish off with the flapper discs. They're a lot more gentle than what a grinding disc is. These are very savage. They take a lot of metal and very quickly. So I steer clear of using them on anything but on top of a MIG weld. MIG weld's pretty hard, so this gets rid of it pretty quickly. These are the flapper discs. Called a flapper disc for obvious reasons. I use a Sear brand? Sear? Yeah, 40 grit and 60 grit. And they go on the variable speed rat tail. You got so much control with that. Slow it down, speed it up, change the grit. This is another one that you'll see all the detail of these sanding discs and what I use in the other video that's about sanding and grinding. Just have a look at that and it'll go through completely and show you what they're all about. This is actually a masonry disc for cutting tiles. So I use that on the grinder when you've got a build-up of corrosion, rusts in one spot. You try and sand it with the disc or even a grinder, they tend to just bog down and they get full of the material, and then all you're doing is actually polishing the bloody rust. These, because it's such a fine tip, and they are savage, so you've got to be very careful. Only use it on the variable speed. These are really good on rust. Okay, I just got measuring ruler, normal file, second cut. I use that a lot just for doing little trimming things. You know, when you go to fit that panel and make sure it's a tight fit for the weld, I use them just to trim it nicely so you're not taking too big a chunks off. Tin snips left and right hand. Mask if you're sanding bog. I'm going to show you an example of bog sanding on this guard here in a minute. Dollies, that's a common dolly, kidney dolly, foot dolly, toe dolly and a door dolly. And when you buy these, don't go and buy the cheapy ones that you get in the kits, because they're just horrible. You know, the faces aren't smooth. You got to sand them all back to get them to do what you want to do. You've got lumps all through them. Better off to go to Hare and Forbes, which is Machinery Warehouse, and buy one of their kits. They're a lot better quality. Planishing hammer, that's my favourite. I've had that one for a long time. It's just a smooth flat. You can buy them in dome versions and different types of heads, which is also available from Machinery Warehouse. I just use this square chip hammer. That comes in handy for doing inside edges and stuff like that with this face here. This is what they call a slapper. This is for covering a bigger area. When you're using a hammer, you're only covering a very small area with the face of the hammer. With these, you can cover a bigger area, and you get a better response with it, using the dolly in conjunction with the slapper. This one's got file grid in it, so this is a stretching one. This will raise the panel extremely quickly. You've got to be careful with these ones. But you can get the smooth ones as well that are just like the planishing hammer. Anyway, that's mostly what I use. There are the C-clamps. And you can buy those in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. They all come in very handy as well when you're clamping your metal together for your welds to run correctly. I just wanted to show you this over here. So that's how to do a rust repair. And this is how not to do a rust repair. It's on the same guard. You can see they've just put a patch straight over the top. They've used the MIG. See how high build it is? And then of course, because of that result, that end result, and it's layered over the top, so it makes it rust out again. So it's rusted out again. Then you've got a huge amount of bog. That bog is that deep, my thumb is fitting into the inside of that edge. It is just massive. Crazy stuff, not necessary. TIG welding, once you get used to it, is as easy, if not easier, than MIG welding. And that's the end result. All that's just been polished with the silicon carbide paint remover disc in a cordless drill. No grinding. As you can see, the work is just seamed together. Nice and flat. No distortion, or hardly any distortion. And to finish that is going to be just a skim of plastic through that area. Job done. That's what the TIG weld looks like before you polish it with the silicon carbide disc in the cordless drill. can kind of see the weld there. And when you polish it up, this is what the end result. Let me just turn it over. You can see on the inside it's the same. Very, very smooth. Small skim of filler. By the time it's finished, you can hardly even tell that it's been welded in. Even up into the corners, you get a nice finish. There we go. Alrighty. Anyway, hope that helps a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And if you got a question, just put it in the comment section and I'll try and get to it and see if I can answer it for you. I might have missed something. I'm on my own today, so video is a bit bloody scrappy. I apologise for that in advance. Thanks for watching.